right, a measure that could have made it harder to raise taxes in California is now off the November ballot. That's after a California Supreme Court decision released today. ABC 10's Becca Habegger shows us what the ballot measure aimed to do and why this Supreme Court decision is so controversial.
The so-called Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act would have changed the state constitution to say, in part, any tax increase passed by state lawmakers must also be approved by voters. And it would have required all local tax increases to be approved by 2/3 of voters instead of just a simple majority vote.
Empower you to have the right to vote on all new state and local taxes in the future.
Democrats, including Governor Newsom, opposed the measure, saying the change would have upended the way government works. On Thursday, the California Supreme Court justices unanimously sided with opponents and removed it from November's ballot.
Direct democracy is no longer alive and well in California.
Advocates of the now removed ballot measure point out the California Secretary of State approved the measure for the November 2024 ballot more than a year ago, after it garnered more than 1 million valid signatures of California voters.
That is today who we are frustrated and disappointed for.
In a statement, Democratic Speaker of the Assembly Robert Rivas said in part, "I'm very pleased the California Supreme Court rejected this unlawful and extreme effort to take power away from local communities to pay for essential services like police and firefighters." California Supreme Court justices said while citizen-initiated ballot measures to amend the state constitution are okay, this one goes so far as to propose a revision, which requires more layers of approval. Justices say it is within the people's prerogative to make these changes, but such a revision would require the calling of a constitutional convention, and that is considerably more difficult. It takes 2/3 approval of both the Assembly and the state Senate, followed by a majority of voters, followed by the results of the Constitutional Convention itself.
We know that the governor and legislature are happy with this ruling, but I'll tell you who else is very happy with this. Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott are probably very happy with this. You know, just another example of how California is so hostile to taxpayers and businesses.
In response to Thursday's state Supreme Court decision, Governor Newsom said he believes the initiative process is a sacred part of our democracy, but as the court's decision affirmed today, that process does not allow for an illegal constitutional revision.
This for us is just a battle in the bigger war. We will be back.
All right, let's bring in Becca, who's been following this for us. Now, removing a measure from the ballot before the election, rare, but not unheard of, right?
Right, and it's been a while. You know, the Supreme Court did this in 1999. It was a ballot measure that would have cut lawmakers' salaries and removed lawmakers' authority to set boundaries for legislative districts. In that case, those justices removed the measure because they said it included more than one subject.
All right, Becca, thanks for the update. We appreciate it.